Can you imagine a first-time world event using all Peacock chairs for the guests? So let's create a first-time world event using all Peacock chairs for attendees. And the gathering is highlighted by stories centered around people that attendees remember in their lives who owned a Peacock chair, and the stories that accompany that person that owns that Peacock chair. And what you'll be surprised to know is there are so many stories about people who had somebody in their life who had a Peacock chair, and that Peacock chair, the symbol actually of the Peacock chair summons some very tender memories for many people, and a lot of them are very fond memories. So I'm imagining a festival, a Peacock chair festival somewhere. Hopefully it's like in Arizona, because that's where all my Peacock chairs are, or Indonesia. But I'm ready for something really big here in the US. And what I mean by that is seating for 450 of two specific types or models of Peacock chairs. So it'd be a mix of two models that would seat 450 people. If we added additional pieces, we could go to 600. And then, of course, some BODACIOUS seating for guests of honor. And actually, it'd be kind of fun to attach some sort of like world or global mantra to the attendees that will be seated, and almost like, a certain requirement on the planet. I mean, it sounds kind of, how do I want to say it? It just sounds really, like stuck up. But I guess what I want to see is like what that room would look like, and just how I'm aligning really to these groups. And it would be fun if they then could, say, auction off the Peacock chair for their cause or whatever it is that they're doing. And, just as remembrance that even though we're on this spiritual journey, which constitutes the higher mind, the intelligence, that which is not felt in this 3D, but only through our imagination as it connects to our minds and our intellect. Different from thought, but although thought is also connected to the intellect, suggesting out of the ether, appearing from what seems to be nowhere, and then landing in the tangible aspect of our physical being, which is our brain, due to a vibration that creates a chemical reaction and then is felt and could potentially be acted upon in an enormous way. And so I guess what I'm saying is that It's so necessary, actually, to go through with the physical motions. And I'm just really glad about what Bashar has been saying about that, because a lot of times, as spiritual leaders, we can, and I consider myself a spiritual leader, even though I don't have a huge following. But I think that as spiritual leaders, we can start questioning the necessity of the tangible. And what I like about it is really that our physical being houses all aspects of a world. And in these like little crystal type forms. And it's just so fascinating to think that, when we look at Venus, that's all rubies, I think it was Venus. And then we go, wow, that is literally reflecting this aspect back to ourselves about who we are. But without getting too caught up in all that, I wanted to just really emphasize that's what Homevestures is about. Back in the day, I would have dreamed to have any one of the chairs that Homevestures sells right now. But now that I am the creative director over the production and how we make our product, it really, really goes out to, how products are made overall with rattan. And since I work with such a small sector of makers, which is the Peacock chair makers, the idea is to just turn the heat up literally so that it's, they can get to their boiling point on mastery. I mean, it's a degree away, and I feel like I'm in a position where I can help influence that degree. And like, it really is a degree. It's nothing more than that. It's a small movement, but it is a movement that would be hotter, way hotter. So that's really the excitement for me. And Homevestures is about to embark on a new iteration of audio, since all the audio that we currently carry is what Homevestures calls Indonesian legacy. We were calling it in the past native legacy, but we're calling it Indonesian legacy. And what that means is it is a quality and standard of Peacock chair making that is known throughout the Peacock chair makers in Indonesia. And it's usually pretty consistent throughout each maker, unless there is a specification to reiterate. And that's what Homevestures is going to do on the audio Peacock chair, with a focus of strengthening the frame, which means that the actual core that we use will be thicker, and it will be a polished manal for the purpose of coloring, so we can color it. But outside of this request, we would typically not want to do that, just to stay in line with, trying to keep things as 100% organic as possible, and just showing the natural beauty of rattan hardwood. So anyway, we're going to get to reiterate it with a stronger frame, a thicker frame, and everything is going to be looked at the way it's joined and the way the seat is. And we won't make a big alteration, but we're just happy and pleased that we get this chance to do it. And we look forward to showing you how that's going to unfold. So back to whether, it's a valuable thing to have these kinds of items. I mean, it should definitely be considered if it's something that you think about on a daily basis as it relates to your home, which is an extension of the world that you are creating from within and giving expression in a new way, in a safe place, which is your home, where you can look at what you're picking and what you're deciding and ask yourself, does this represent a part of me that's, is this like something that helps me to get excited and enthusiastic about some other aspect of my life, and I just think that's how stuff is. And what's interesting too is like me, we just recently sold a couple of our homes in New Jersey, and I was not there when all the shakedown happened because I was in Indonesia. And so a lot of like my personal belongings and stuff were decided for me by my husband and my children. And I just, I come through that whole thing really liking uh, what they saw as valuable, because only the stuff that's with us now is the stuff that they valued. Everything else is gone. And uh, a lot of it was distributed, throughout my family and stuff. But, that in and of itself has its own story. What they kept, what was important, and also, like, where is it? Are they using it? And if not, well, then it served a different purpose. Like, if they're not using it every day, it doesn't really matter. What matters is that for them, it gave them some sort of a feeling of connection, and it was a tangible thing. Just like everything that we have in our lives, including the phone that you're holding to hear this message, which is the tangible physical representation of an object that connects you and me together. And it's no different than any other physical, tangible thing. Any other thing. Doesn't matter. It all has a meaning, but none of it, and it's meant to be felt. And that is the ultimate value. There's the value. So if you want to make the value about money, then you lose out on the felt part. And that's not why we're here, right? We're not here to decide that money is going to decide what we feel and what we don't feel. So our job is to decide what we want and to feel like it's an absolute, like there is no meh. And that's really kind of what happens when push comes to shove and you have to move, is what's going to make it through the move? What is the thing that you're going to carry from east to west on a handcart, or, on the back of your trailer or on the back of your truck? What piece is it going to be? So, all of that needs to be put into perspective, but ultimately, it's meant to be got, it's meant to be felt, it's meant to be let go of, because, we're building up a bank, a reservoir of these physical encounters that we're having. And, the more of a reservoir that we have going forward on all subjects, the 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 broader our references are, the bigger our scope is, we can narrow and hone down to a detail and go, yes, and that's just our decision. But all of it is real. All of it means something, if it means something to you. So what I'm saying is that I personally like the idea that Homevestures gets to offer something super unique in the home products industry, a Peacock chair. I mean, we offer all kinds of other stuff too. Curved sofas and any kind of sofa, actually. We want to get into all of that. But, Peacock chair is where we're putting our focus, and that circles right back around to what I started off saying in the very beginning, was how fun it would be to have a Peacock chair festival with certain attendees that would possibly share experiences, and of course that the focus is the Peacock chair, but also using these beautiful stories, this beautiful chair, to kind of transition and segue into like a new organic wave. So, because the organic wave is here and it's going to keep coming in, the waves are going to be good for a while. And so it's just like, gosh, don't make it out of plastic anymore, you guys. Just don't. Because the real cool thing is not going to be the new plastic shape. It's just not. So it's like, gosh, what an exciting challenge. And it's like Jeff Bezos said, an experiment isn't an experiment if you know what the results are going to be going into it. And it's kind of a decision to want to just go out on that and just go, how much of a statement do we want to make on this? Because it's just interesting, to be around people and they're just really not paying attention to how much plastic is how much is being iterated out of plastic. So interesting. A lot of the mindset of, say, Bali and the Joglo is that after 7 years, you're getting a new one. And that means you can change locations. So yes, you're a bit nomadic, but right now, New Jersey is harvesting some of the best blueberries, I'm sure, because we're getting them here in Florida. And so that's one of the advantages to being able to go around to different places, is the food, is the healthy foods that get to be experienced. And really, you can find healthy food anywhere you go. But yeah, so I'm getting ready to rephotograph some of these chairs. Florida is not our main headquarters on stock. These just came up for a pop-up and just honestly for our home here. So I'm going to see if I can work them into some of the bedrooms and some of the spaces around the house. I've heard some really powerful stories around people who have owned Peacock chairs, or somebody that in their family has owned a Peacock chair, to the point of tears. And I think that's definitely one of the foundational pieces that this is going to sound terrible, but how the universe breadcrumbed me on into this journey, and so I followed the breadcrumbs, and this is what I came to, and what I discovered was something very deep, something very historical, something that seems to reappear in history and in times. A story that wants to be told in a more emphatic way. And so I guess I'm just going to add my page or paragraph to the history of the Peacock chair through Homevestures.